Hi guys, welcome to Dragonsland. This is a show where we're going to talk about the European Football League. We usually do it in Spanish, but we're trying this out this week. If you like it, maybe we'll keep going. My name is Alex Kracz. I'm quarterback for Osos Rivas. We won the Madrid League this year and we're second in Spain. This is David Yu. He plays in Alcobendas Cavaliers, and they also won the D2 league this year. And Santiago Tomasi is a journalist, and also he comments the Barcelona Dragons games. And all right, let's start with the results of Week 7. Berlin Thunder 33, Leipzig Kings 22, Cologne Centurions 14, Frankfurt Galaxy 46, Surge 0, Wroclaw Panthers 34. You'll see I'm Polish, that's why I say Wrocław, okay? For the ELF standings, now by Week 7, Northern Conference, Sea Devils 5-1, Berlin Thunder 4-3, Panthers 3-4, and Kings 2-5. The Central Conference, Vikings is in the lead with 6-0, Raiders 4-2, Galaxy 4-3, and David, your favorite team, Surge 0-7. And for the Southern Conference, Dragons is leading 5-1, Fire 4-2, Centurions 2-5, and the least favorite for this category is Rams 0-6. All right, well, we're going to start with the first game, Berlin Thunder, Leipzig Kings.
Well, it was a really tough game for Leipzig. They started well, they did a good first quarter, a good third quarter, but at the end of both halves they collapsed completely. They didn't cover in defense, in attack. They tried to run, but they didn't run very well. And I find that Leipzig starts well the games, but they start to crumble after 10 minutes more or less, while Berlin starts really bad. They are starting really poor every game, but they enter in a dynamic, in a rhythm, and they start to win. I think it's a tough game to cover because it was a strange game. It wasn't a very good one, and I think Leipzig should have did better in the first half, but they didn't produce. I think it would be the thing.
Yeah, I think Berlin started like really badly. Mm-hmm. They started getting better, but also I think something very important about this game is that Leipzig has a new quarterback, Connor Miller, and I think we've seen the team go better and better. Mm-hmm. And actually, in you guys know, he just won the French conference league, whatever you call it. He was in the All-Star game last year.
Exactly. In Austria last year, he did a pretty well job. In Linz, if my memory doesn't... Yes, Linz, so...
And he connected really well with Jones. Jones had 3 touchdowns, 122 yards, and he's actually changing Leipzig's.
Yeah,
maybe.
Actually, if you think about it, it's a really tough position to be in as a brand new QB. You get into a franchise that you don't know the playbook, you don't know the players. We're actually gonna see this, and the other side of the coin.
The new quarterback that didn't do so well?
Yeah, totally. So actually, it's a really interesting thing that making this risky business decision that it's, okay, midway of the season, we're going to hire a brand new QB, trying to gain a little bit of confidence, I don't know, trying to make the team alive. And actually, it seems that for the Kings, actually it's working out pretty well. It's true that very first game, we got to see how it evolves, because maybe it's just like a fling, right? And perhaps the rest of the teams are going to already have them all figured out, all scout out, and it's just going to be against Berlin that he did a pretty good job. Although they ended up losing the game, because it's true that Berlin, as you said, Santiago, they started pretty slow, but as soon as they found their pace, as soon as Germinario managed to get that first TD with that really impressive run of his, actually Berlin managed to get into a rhythm of like scoring 21 points in the second quarter.
Yeah,
that was really impressive.
It was more than 300 yards at the end of the game for Germinario. I think that the problem with Kings is not a problem of QB, because we see that the last QB, if my memory isn't wrong, he started to get with injuries, with travels. The problem is for me the defense. They are trying to cover different positions, different places. We have seen very good changes in that players. For example, I remember Carrasco started at running back, now he's an outside linebacker. We have seen some of the safeties play as corners. I feel that what is happening in Leipzig is they can win matches, but they doesn't feel in the position to win it, and they start to suffer. Because, for example, yesterday they started pretty well the match. They started with a good rhythm in offense. In defense, it's true that it wasn't the best, but they can at least produce a 3-and-out. And after that, it was a team that couldn't defend, that was one-on-one with better receivers than corners. For me, it was that type of game that you lose in a physicality way, when you shouldn't lose in physicals in a league like that.
Yeah, it is true that whenever your team has to get scored by more than 20 points, it's unless there's like a bunch of turnovers, pick six, or really tough situations in which your offense it's messing up. Like, for example, you fumble the ball on your own red zone. Okay.
Or special teams.
And that type of situations, okay, you can blame it on the offense. Problem is, whenever your team is getting scored by 20 plus points, all right, there's a problem here on our defense.
Yes.
I mean, I think one of the biggest problems of Leipzig is their national players are a lot weaker. I mean, they have a new quarterback. They have really good players, but the players, the national players, to say they're a little bit weaker, and you can tell.
Yeah, I think that could affect from rain. Rain is not far away, and I think that kind of big stadium, big mentality, big fan base can affect some team that plays really near and that doesn't have that kind of following behind and that kind of...
I mean, it is true that Kings, it's again part of Germany, right? Mm-hmm. You have to when it comes to making contracts, getting players, national players, you have to face Berlin. Okay, maybe it's not the best team, right? On paper,
but it's a big city.
But it's a really big city, the capital of the country. That's already like, okay, I want to go to Berlin, all right? Frankfurt, Hamburg, right? Especially teams like, for example, Hamburg up north, all right, whatever. Maybe not one of the biggest cities of Germany, but they just came back from last season, ended up on the final.
And one of the cities that has more nightlife, that has most football experience. Going to Hamburg is like going to a big place for football. Going to Leipzig is going to a city that is big also, but it's not the same feeling.
It's not a big football place to go.
But aside of that, also, it's not only the national players. You mentioned Carrasco before.
Yes.
He was running back. Now he's playing in defense. He can't do the contain. You have Crawford running his side all the time. So I think it's not even like only the national. There's
it's a problem in coaching, yes. And I think that sometimes when I see Stuttgart, I tend to think that I'm watching an NCAA game in the meaning of there are a lot of athletes. They are not cornerbacks. They are not.
Are we talking about Stuttgart or are we talking about
Leipzig? Sorry, from the city. They play like athletes. You have very good bodies, very good players, but they don't play in their position. But they play.
What about their IQ? Yeah,
exactly. It's like I have a good man that can play safety.
Yeah.
I put it outside linebacker or running back, or I put it in defensive end. I understand why, because he has the physique to do that. But the problem is you don't want him to play in a position that he doesn't have the football knowledge to play it.
I mean, for example, Carrasco, right? He is a very athletic player, right? Has a lot of good qualities, very good IQ. All right, maybe he was not producing as a running back, right? But the team sees, okay, this guy has whatever they see on him. I mean,
I think he played safety in Spain.
Yes,
so
he has strong safety.
Yeah, but right now he's playing in a position right now on defense that it's not safety. I think he's playing as outside linebacker.
Yes.
Right? Besides that, He's a very athletic guy. Knows a ton about football,
Yeah,
right?
but he made so many mistakes, you know. I don't know. I think another player that we have to think about is Wilczek. Wilczek,
Yeah.
two touchdowns. He did 140 yards. He's been playing really well. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's playing really well, but I think that in the case of Leipzig, we have to blame the coaching staff. That the problem is that they are not getting the most of their players because they have really good players.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, right? Berlin is still a pretty decent team.
Yes,
right. They're
exactly.
performing. They are producing, and they managed to pull out the W, right? And again, Germinario, really good game. The defense did their job. 20. Okay, we were talking about before trying to keep your rival 20 less points. 22, pretty decent job. Yeah. Okay, so
I mean, I think this was the best game of the week. Yeah. And now we're going to start with Cologne, Centurions, and Galaxy.
All right.
What did you think about that one? I think Cologne just started going down. I think from the Dragons game.
Yeah, exactly.
The level started going worse and worse. And worse.
I don't know if it's Cologne. I mean, they had a really good start to the season, right? Pulling off W's against tough teams. Okay, all right.
First one,
first week against Rams. Okay,
second yes.
Right, but yeah. But they have really talented players. QP is over there producing not only as receiver, they even pull him and.
Yeah, but what happened this game? Quinton Pounds. If you cover Quinton Pounds, they stop him and they have. Jan only throws to him. Yeah. So what happens when you cover him well?
It seems it's a one-trick pony offense. They only want Pounds. Pounds can produce. He's a really good wide receiver, probably the best in the league. But when your QB only looks at him and your running game isn't strong enough, because it isn't strong enough, the sensation of Cologne is a team that they can play very well if you let them play what they want. If they can't adjust, they can't play another type of situation, and I think that's a very big problem. They can win if Pounds have 200 yards, more or less, or more, but it's almost impossible that only a wide receiver can get that many yards in one game, two games, three games.
He even threw a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, QP is a true, football player. He's super athletic. You can't rely on him, but he shouldn't be the only weapon.
Exactly.
Cologne.
But I think it's also difficult to say that because you're quarterback, I'm quarterback. I have my favorite player, and I tend to throw to her, especially more than others.
I mean, you do understand that you develop some chemistry with certain players, and it is true that it's easier to look towards their way, right? But
even if you have to cross the field.
Yeah, but
I even do it. So
yeah, but right now you look down QP with 2 DBs, right? We already saw that against Dragons. Dragons did a great job locking him down, avoiding QP. And what happened? We pulled the W. What happened again?
But
Galaxy pulled the W.
You are right in what you are meaning in that the QB has a wide receiver 1 and he's going to pass it. But I think that there's another time, the problem is the coaching staff. If you see that your player only looks to other player, you have to pull some tricks or some kind of play that make him the reference for the defense, but not for your QB. Because he's going to get double cover, I think, every time. Because Pounds is going to receive, he's going to produce. You can
talking again about the coaching decisions. I believe that Cologne tends to rely on trick plays way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. Yeah. And as soon as they pull one off, because
we've seen it
before.
Yeah,
exactly.
We've seen situations in which they pull off a trick shot. Right?
Pounds throwing, it's a really good
it's a good play. But you can only pull so many of them. Yeah. And sometimes Cologne tend to overdo it. And going back to what you were saying about, us being QBs, right? We have our favorite receivers, right? I don't want to say it. I don't want to create any bad blood among my...
We have seen your games. We have seen your games. We know.
Yeah, but like for example, on the other hand, we see Jacob, right? He throws the ball without really. It doesn't give the feeling that he's already targeting this one particular receiver, and he's like locked down. Okay, I want to target this guy. I'm gonna open up the offense. What about this guy? What about that guy? And it puts defense on a way tougher position in general. And it should be like that. Not QP. All right, now I'm gonna hand it to QP and he's going to throw it now because it's not going to work.
So, David, since you're on a roll, on opinion roll, we're going to go to the next game. Wroclaw Panthers and...
Against my Stuttgarts.
Yeah. So what did you think about that game? Because, I have my favorite, obviously, and my Polish Wrocław, I don't know.
All right. What? Okay, hear me out. When we started doing the show on the Spanish version, we decided to try out this one play analysis, and I actually decided to analyze one play of Stuttgart, and I actually liked it. Checking them out, I thought, okay, they actually have a pretty interesting offense playbook. I like it. It's not very well executed, right?
And it's not very well called in the games.
Yeah, but sometimes they have interesting things that it is true that it's not working right now, and unfortunately, they brought a new QB who did a pretty decent first game. That's what I'm saying about with the Kings QB.
Yeah,
very first game, interesting game, did a good job. Let's see about the second game. Second game, Stuttgart messed it up.
I mean, this was a disaster.
Yeah, he was totally off the mark. He was making decisions really that, to be honest,
there were some decisions that it was difficult to even
understand,
to back up,
to even process.
To
even process why is he doing that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But
I get it.
It's
it is true that
and you see the play again and again and again, and it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
I mean,
tough second game. It can be that kind of slump. It's normally the sophomore in years, but it can be a sophomore slump game. It was a tough game to watch, and we have to give props to Wrocław because they are playing in a way that they are losing more than they are winning. That's true, but they are always in the game. They are always fighting.
Yeah.
And when you find a team like Suits that they need a jump start, they need to win. They have lost the last 380 days, more or less. If Wrocław starts putting points, but they are gonna break down. So I think that's the problem with Suits, that you have so many games lost before that if you don't start 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, you don't believe in the team. And Wrocław did a perfect job, and I think that they play by the book. They know what to do, they know how to do it. And
it is true that Panthers start awful.
Yeah.
They start really poorly.
I mean, that first play of the game, I'm sure you're going to show it. We're not really sure.
It's not the best start of a game I've seen.
It was just weird.
It was terrible. I mean, but it seemed like to be
QBs, as you are both QBs. What the hell was him doing? The running back doing? Because watching
when I watched
nothing.
that play, I thought, okay, this is a flip flicker. Okay, out of the bat, QB hands the ball. Okay, running back, pitch it back to the QB. He's gonna throw it. Okay, pretty simple. As soon as I see the face on the QB, even with the helmet on, you can see his body language going like, I was supposed to keep the ball, Where's the ball? They're running back. Where's the ball? And all of a sudden, their eyes meet on the ball, on the ground, and none of them diving towards it.
I think he just blanked out. But it is true, ever since the new Panthers quarterback came into the show, he's also a lefty. Panthers
You're a lefty?
No. I think it's interesting, because like lefty quarterbacks, we don't see them a lot.
Statistically, they are less than a 5%.
We don't. And I think Panthers have been doing a lot better. He's changing things, and I think we have to put that into consideration.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think that Panthers are doing a good job. The problem is that it's too little, too late, probably for the playoffs. That's the thing. And Schurz, I think they only need a win. They only need a win to start to get in rhythm. Van den Band will look much better if he doesn't have that many blunders in a game that they have this week. So I think that's the...
I mean, Stuttgart needs a win ASAP.
Yeah.
Right now. At least for a morale boost. So...
All right, guys. Well, if sounds good to you guys, we're going to start with Alberto Herrero with subtitles, and it's a pretty interesting section.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Jacob Tapia here. As you can tell, I'm not Alberto. That's because he's going to be doing the Spanish version of this show, and I'm going to be doing the English version. But still, go to the Spanish version, shout him out in the comments. Be like, hey Alberto, what's up? And if you like American football content in Spanish, go watch Ocho Costuras, because that's his show. You're really going to enjoy it. Okay, but now let me tell you about this new section we're going to be doing here. We're going to be talking about ELF players, but not only the ones you see on the highlights, you know, on the Instagram post, on the comments, on the pictures, on the billboards. We're going to be talking about everyone, especially the ones you have to keep your eyes on. So today we're bringing you 4 players, 21 and under, that you have to keep watching. And to start, we're going to Berlin, man. You know how the running back situation right there is. You got Joe Crawford, running back number 1 for the league right now. But there's also this kid, Oliver Wissenshosh. I hope that's how you pronounce it. He's 20 years old, man. He's really young. But he has now this opportunity to learn behind Joe Crawford. He was a veteran player. And you know, Oliver is making all these plays count. He only has 3 carries for like 42 yards. But, I mean, 3 carries, 42 yards. That's crazy. You know, so... he's learning, he's making every snap count, and he's making the most out of this opportunity to learn behind someone like Chuck. And we think he's going to be a really impactful player in the future for this franchise. He also has some high school experience back in Mason High School. So, you know, keep an eye on him. Next, and I apologize for the name and pronunciation, we got Christoph Nitzelnader. He's a 20-year-old cornerback for the Tyler Raiders, man. He has not been a starter yet, but he has played some snaps, and he actually has 21 tackles, 12 tackles solo. He has a 1 forced fumble. He has 3 tackles for loss, and he actually has broken some passes. You know, he's been playing as a cornerback, mostly as a nickel. He's been used as an outside cornerback too, but you know, he's really making everything count. You know, every moment for him is important. He's making plays whenever he's on the field. So, you know, he's going to be learning and going to be growing as a player, and he's going to be making a real impact on his team in the upcoming seasons. So we really need to keep watching him grow, because he's going to be one hell of a player. Next, we have Lucas Holub, right tackle for the Vienna Vikings. He's only 20 years old, but listen to this. He's 1 meter 94 centimeters tall, 120 kilos. For my people in the US, that's 6'4", 265 pounds roughly. So you know he's a beast. He's a beast, man. But he is fast. He's explosive. He's been a starter this whole season. He's been there working for his line and helping his quarterback, helping his running back make these plays. Man, it's the best team in the league right now. So you know they got the best players right now, and he's definitely one of them. He actually has some high school experience at Southridge High School back in the US. So, I mean, he has the numbers, he has the experience, and now he's growing more as a player, more as a person. So we think we can see him on the NFL International program someday. So definitely keep an eye on him, because we might see a little star role, a little NFL star role right now in front of our eyes. So keep an eye on him. And last but not least, we have the most impactful player, 21 and under, Marcus Schneider, wide receiver for the Tyler Raiders. He's only 21 years old, but he has 24 catches, 362 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's balling, man. He's balling out this season, so definitely keep an eye on him. He actually plays some snaps as a returner too, and you know, maybe he's small, yes, but he's just working. He's just working. He's making the best out of every snap, of every play. Whenever he touches the ball, he's making plays. So we might see him too on some NFL International program. So definitely keep an eye on Mark. And of course, we have to talk about the Dragons, man. It's just a quick shout out to Alejandro Fernandez and Yago Rivero, beast players right now on the D-line for the Barcelona Dragons. They're making plays, especially Alejandro Fernandez, who's been making really impactful plays on these 6 games we've played. So quick shout out to them, man. Okay, that was it for this week. Remember to go watch Ocho Costuras if you like American football content in Spanish. You also can find me as JJ Trippin on any social network. And I see you next week.
Thanks so much, Alberto. That was really interesting. He always talks about really interesting facts of the European Football League. Now, I don't know if you have any opinions or something that you forgot to talk about.
Well, I think that we should talk about Leipzig crowd. They are putting not very much people, it's true, but they are really loud, and I really like the environment that they are creating in the game. So I think that Leipzig Kings has a pretty strong fan base, and I really like it because they are not too much. They are not Rain that are 9,000, 8,000, but I like how they are making their team feel alive in some difficult days.
Actually, after talking about what we said before, that perhaps going to Leipzig as a football player, maybe it's not the most engaging place to go, but feeling part of the city with all that huge fan base, it's nice.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Especially maybe you're not a Raiders player and you feel that crowd, that buzzing, like, maybe, all right. But Kings also managed to pull that off with less fan.
They have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I wish like Barcelona also has a really unique fan base, not very big, but those are right like
they go
full
much for
on,
the team.
yeah, you know.
It's
So yeah,
that kind of place to play, that type of field that gives you some advantage. It's true that we are talking about Rain all the time because they are 9,000. Leipzig is, I think, 1,500 more or less. It's few people, but if you make that kind of noise, if you make the players to feel like they are playing for them, it's always a nice thing to have and a nice thing to do, I think, as a fan, of course.
yeah. Going back to more things about like players related and league related, are you feeling confident about? Because it seemed that you're becoming a huge fan of this new QB on Kings. Are you feeling confident for his second game with Kings? Coming from like the Stuttgart situation.
I mean, I think he did he played a really good game. I think he also, it's not like he just came out of nowhere. He just won the
France League, yes.
France League.
He played in the Austrian League last year. So
He has a pretty good background, and in the All-Star game last year, he did really well too. And he came, and all of a sudden, he connected with Jones, and I think it's a pretty good start.
And he is also supporting Alex. He's someone that has played here in Europe. Because, for example, the Stuttgart QB, he has played more or less well in USA, but going to Europe, it's true that the level is probably less, yes, but it's a different environment to play. There are some difference in how we play in the line, how we play, how our wide receivers play. So I think that Connor has that kind of development that will help him to not have that slump in the second game.
I mean, it is true that he was he the MVP for the
American Star?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, but it's still the U.S. lost against Europe when that game happened, right? They still lost. Sean Shelton, great QB from the Raiders, right? He still had to get into that rhythm of this new league, right? Because he was coming from the GLF or what league was it?
I think so. I think he was in the GFL because GFL. Yes.
Yeah, and still really competent league, but making that jump, you kind of feel that. And right now that Kings are facing already like the second half of the season, right? Is he gonna be able to pull that off? It's a different rhythm. I mean, maybe he will, right?
I mean,
after all those.
They had to
he
do
has
something.
this week, if no,
Exactly. He has this
a
week
bye
off.
week.
Yeah, I mean,
to prepare a little bit more, and I think they needed to do something because if not, I mean,
they were doomed.
Yeah.
it's not like an Istanbul team, but it was not looking great. So I think they really needed a new quarterback. They got him.
Yeah.
I
feel not confident yet because we haven't seen enough, but it looks good. And I think that's what they needed, you know?
I mean, we also have to check out how the coaching staff, because you were saying before that maybe they're lacking also in that aspect.
Yeah, especially in the defensive coordinator, I would like more. I don't know if I would like more knowledge, but I would like to see more how could I explain it without being disrespectful? That they have to be more concentrated in the game. That they shouldn't be so. We play individual defense one-on-one, and you cannot win this league playing one-on-one. You cannot play individual defense because you are gonna get destroyed. They are very good receivers, they are very good tight ends, and in the physical game, to say it someplace, you can play like they are playing. I think that's the issue with.
I think we talked before in the Spanish show about their defense and that it was just not working. And I think that's what you're saying. The coach needs to adjust. When something's not working, they need to adjust. And also, we talked about it too. There's a play where there's, I think, a corner safety, and they just go up and the receiver goes
they were showing like
it was
cover
weird.
2. It was a cover 2 show. Safety drops as soon as he reads screen, but apparently it was a fake. Wide receiver takes off, wide open, clean shot, Germinario.
I mean, if you're in high school, maybe you can make that kind of mistake, I guess.
Yeah, but like the big leagues, no.
You can't.
But it's only not on the defense, but also on the offense. They were running a screen play with the running back. QB throws his running back, right? He grabs it, facing downfield, and instead of, fighting 2-3 yards, whatever you can get, he starts to go in full Houdini, right? To scramble around. First and 10 turns up to 2nd and 30 almost. Yeah. It was crazy. So it is true that Kings have to polish their game a little bit more. And right now, I just hope that they end up like at least break even on their record. Because
we hope.
It was weird. It was really strange. Yeah. Really strange. Anything else?
No, I think.
So we finish week 7.
Yeah.
Good?
All right.
So we're going to start with week 8 for this weekend. On Saturday, the 23rd, Dragons plays Rams. I mean, I'm pretty sure it should be an easy game. And on Sunday, the 24th, Sea Devils Fire. It should be interesting for Dragons also. And Raiders Vikings, which is the Austrian Derby. What do you guys think about these games?
All right.
All right, let's start. Dragons, Rams.
Okay, we're gonna place our bets. Okay.
How much?
That's I think that's the
How many
question.
beers? How many beers?
No, but I think the only question is how much points are gonna ram up.
55.
Yeah, 55?
Yep.
I mean, it is true. It is true that Rams just came from losing 70 to
70
nothing.
They have changed every single American player. Every American player has been changed in this week off. So I think that's gonna be weird for Dragons because there's gonna be a new look.
The scouting point of view, it's gonna be a little bit different. You're not gonna face against the same team you played a couple weeks ago,
which scored a touchdown against Dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you remember.
True.
Very, very good work of the running back. That next week against Hamburg, he was also his best player. So that Turkish player is doing a really good job, I think.
I mean, I think.
The only one.
Yeah, certainly. But
I think the biggest enemy of Dragons right now is
Dragons.
Not knowing.
No, their own, like Dragons, because they're just coming off their bye week, right? Maybe you just relaxed a little bit too much, or they're already planning on their heads and scouting and preparing the next game because you're thinking, okay, Rams is a game, which
it's a long trip.
On paper, it is an easier game. The only thing that I want for Dragons is to take the game seriously, or at least let their second team get on the field, get some reps, play, and
earlier.
Yeah, because last time they were already, I don't know how many
They were
points.
up so many touchdowns.
45-7, I think. It was the end of the fourth quarter. It was strange because at the end, when we were on break on the halftime, it was so easy for Dragons, and you could see that they can use the second unit and give them reps and also give them confidence because injuries can happen. So if you have them prepared and with confidence, that's something that is really good.
Because at the end of the day, facing Rams, facing Raiders, facing whoever, right? If you get your players on the field and they're not used to that type of crowd, that type of pressure, that type of whatever the feelings of those players might be, it's going to be tough. So if you're already 20 points up, just get the guys a chance. Get your second unit out. Yeah, like Hamburg did. Especially, I'm just saying, Dragons should face Rams as a regular, normal game. Be concentrated, not like let them sleep on Rams and just.
So,
but yeah,
how many points?
How many points?
30.
30?
I think it's gonna be a weird game because it's a long trip, coming off by, and I think that Dragons are gonna do a good job in the first half. It's gonna be an easy game, and after first half we are gonna have loads of secondary players, of second team players, and we're gonna see our offense really relaxed, really wanting to milk the clock and don't have so much time to spend in the field. 40 degrees. Turkey in July. It's gonna be a game that it can have some heat problems.
Yeah,
really big.
You don't feel confident about the second team?
No, I don't feel confident about trying to go all in the second half. Yeah. If you are going to play 40 degrees in Turkey, winning 0-0, why are you going to try to make that second team go all in, play hard, make some different plays? You are gonna go to the basics. Run, short passes, things that can milk the clock, and that second half of 2 hours can be reduced to 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and be less tired for the game in home, that it's going to be the difficult one, we expect.
Yeah. Dragons, 30, 35, 40 plus.
All right. We'll see next week what happens.
Okay.
All right. The next one is Sea Devils Fire.
All right, as the way I see it right now, I believe that despite all Fire losing their last game against Sea Devils, I think that they're going to pull off this W, especially because, again, for you guys that don't know, we do have a Spanish version of the show, and I've already shared several times that I'm not a huge fan of Cisse, right, the Sea Devils QB, especially because...
We know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I don't need to go into details of.
He's a dual threat QB that doesn't have so much of dual threat. That's the problem with him.
Yeah, so I believe that Fire, if they're locked in and actually go for it, they have a really good chance. Sea Devils, their defense is the only part of the team that can actually make some damage over there, rather than their offense. Because if their QB. To say that it's more a running QB, having this many weapons on the wide receiver core, if you're not exploiting that, then what?
That's a difficult game.
Just have the team playing.
I see your point, but I go against Rain in this game. I think Hamburg is gonna win because I think that Sea Devils. It's true that Cisse is not the best QB in the league, but I rank him more than you. I think I value him more. I think it's a top 5, top 4 QB. He plays.
That's pretty high up.
Yeah, because
that's pretty high up.
He can be a good game manager. He can be a good elite QB, but he could be a good game manager. And I think also that the defense is gonna make Rain suffer a lot. We have seen Rain play really good games, but crumble and have suffered a lot in close games. And I think Hamburg is like Vienna, for example, that there are some teams that can play the last 2-3 minutes. Every mistake you make, they rack up points. I think that Hamburg is gonna win because they are that kind of team, like Vienna, like Dragons has shown, that they use your mistakes against you, and they make you the game so difficult that you end giving up, not so much, but just like, I can't do anything.
I definitely agree with Santi. I think Sea Devils has a very good running game. Yeah. It's worked well, and I haven't seen a team really stop them. Stop them. So I'm going to go with Sea Devils. What about Raiders, Vikings? I think that's the most debatable game.
I think it's the game that I'm looking forward to the most.
I agree.
Yeah.
Despite of Dragons being one of my favorite teams, Raiders is also top there. I'm a huge fan of Sean Shelton. I think that he's a great QB. Vikings have proven and showed time and time again.
An experienced quarterback.
Yeah, because he's 30 plus.
Yeah, an experienced quarterback.
Yeah,
they always talk about how old he is.
I mean, but not in a bad way. We're remarking the fact that being already 30 plus years, it gives you a view of the game a little bit different. You know, you're coming off college and you face so many things, so many defenses, and like you already been playing for 10 plus years on this type of leagues, right? Obviously not freaking NFL. But
he's a veteran.
Do you believe in him enough to win this game, to lead the team to win this game?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's true that, back to what I was going to say before, Vikings have shown time and time again that if you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah.
We've already seen that against Barcelona, right? And probably
against them in the first week, because Raiders have the game almost won and Vikings used their 3 mistakes in all the game, and they scored 21 points and they destroyed it.
Yeah, true, because they already faced before.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Vikings for this one.
Right.
I'm sorry, I never agree with you.
Well,
but
you both have agreed in Barcelona against Rams.
I mean,
True.
that's really difficult not to. I think that Vienna is really good at using the other team's mistakes, like we saw in the last few games with Dragons and the past games, and they take the mistakes that the other team makes to their advantage, and they win games like that. And they've been doing it since they started, and I think that's how they got to where they are.
Yeah,
right now
I agree with Alex, but I'm gonna risk in one thing. I think it's gonna be a Vikings win, but I think Raiders is the only team that can win them in regular season.
Yeah.
I think if they go 7-0, they go 12-0. Because I think that, for example, Dragons game, second week to last, Dragons is gonna play for a seeding, Vienna also, but they are not going to show everything. Because they are all in the playoff, you are going to face each other probably in a probable semi-final, in a probable final, they are going to play as well.
Yeah.
So I think that if they go over Raiders, it can be the first time that we have seen a team doing a 12-0. So
I mean, I'm just going to say one thing and one thing only. It's time for payback. And Raiders are going to win this. It's time for payback. And to be honest, on the second season of this league, I don't want to just see a 12-0 team.
Well, I think that
I don't want to see right off the bat, especially being a new team of this year competing on this league. I don't want to see a team as dominant.
But I think that you can go 12-0 and you cannot win the championship. That's something that could happen. I think that what happened to us
Vikings.
last week, the loss against Vikings, is a wake-up call. If Vikings win today, they cannot have a call until the last day.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a gift that can go on the other side. But I believe that Vikings win.
So Vikings.
Payback.
Yeah.
Payback.
I think anything is possible, but I do go with Vikings.
It's going to be the game of the week, no doubt about that.
All right, guys. Well, this is it for today. If you like the show, retweet, subscribe, give us love so we can keep going. Bye, guys.
Have this strangest feeling to know what to believe in. 'Cause every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind. All I think about, and I don't wanna stop. I don't wanna stop. Could you come closer to me? I just can't resist you. I'm giving up. I'm giving up. I am stuck in a dreaming. I can't help what I'm feeling. I don't